Hey everybody, Rachelle Jones, Lunch and Live 11:45. So, if you were with me a few minutes ago, I apologize for wasting your time, for the trickery and the nonsense. I apologize. I know your time is so valuable, and I'm very sorry that I was having connection problems. So, the power is going out here, and so I think the Wi-Fi is just not handling that. It's like flickering. So in other places of the world, they have storm watches and storm interruptions for their power. Here in Southern California, we have wind problems. So I didn't realize today is one of those days, but someone just texted me, the video is paused. Thank you. Actually, a couple people texted me that the video is paused, and because the wind, apparently they're turning off, doing the power things that they've been doing. They've been turning off the power on windy days so that we don't cause fires. Because if you know anything about California, we have we have fires every year around this dry season, and it's been really terrible. Oh, it's been so terrible. I can't even imagine what all those people are going through in these after effects of fire. So, trying again. Talking about, I'm just actually going to start over because now I actually have my brain engaged. So that's good. I can just make sure the other one didn't post. So I'll do that too. So people aren't watching nonsense information. Anyway, I heard this great analogy the other day, and I wanted to share it with you and also give you a helpful tip, a helpful thing to start incorporating into your life, because pretty much most of us don't. So this helpful analogy I heard, which was really awesome. Hi guys, thanks for joining. P, hi, thanks for joining. Nicole, thank you. I see it says Mom Biz Academy. Thank you all for joining and spending your time here with me. So, yay, she's waving, but I don't know how to wave back. Let's see, I'm trying to send you a wave. Oh, look it, I did. I found it. Things I can't do when I'm in my car, but I can when I'm here in my office. So, the analogy was, well, first of all, grief is the painful feelings that bubble up when something changes. Big change. I think when we think of the word loss, we tend to connect that with death or maybe divorce or something like we call big. But it actually happens with any type of loss or change. So anytime your life has some kind of change on, you're like, whoa, but job changes, home changes, family changes, romantic changes, body changes, money changes. Any type of change, sweet or sour, produces feelings inside of us, and we call that grief. Grief is, well, it's the definition of grief. So anytime you experience grief, a feeling because something that changed, it's like putting thorns. Think of rosebush thorns. A rosebush thorn into your skin, jam that stinker in there and let it hit a nerve. It's going to sit directly on a nerve. Now, that's going to hurt. That's going to feel like pain. And you're like, ah! Well, after enough time building up these thorn bushes, we become like a thorn bush, don't we? But building up these thorns in our system, it's right, Christina? She's like, ouch, yes, it hurts. And you got my note. Yay, thank you. So putting rosebush thorns all over our body. And what do? We become really good at avoiding smacking our thorns, because that's gonna hurt like madness, and grief does that, right? We've got that feeling where someone first left us and we felt alone, and anytime we experience anything possible that could go in the direction of loneliness, we become afraid and we respond out of our fear, and it's really the noise of our pain when we hit the thorn that's connected to the root or the nerve called alone, abandoned, and you have fear and you have pain, and the pain is what we call grief. So we're building up a lifetime's worth of thorns. They don't come out, y'all. They don't come out until we take the appropriate steps. So the appropriate steps are what you learn in a class, either a 2-day or an 8 session. Not everyone has 8 sessions, which is generally once a week. So that's 8 weeks. That's 2 months. Those are amazing classes, but not everyone has that kind of time availability. So maybe they choose the 2-day class. They're intense and they're freaking amazing. They're fast. You get all the tools. You walk through recovery. So 2-day, 8-day. By the way, if you live somewhere other than where I am located, I will travel to you to host a 2-day class for you and your people, your group, however you want to get in this group. I will host a 2-day class. Come teach you all the steps of recovery because you're building up thorns. Okay. So we become really, really practiced at not hitting our thorns. Avoid fear, avoid pain, avoid. And the world reinforces that. Go meditate, go for a walk. Well, just cut them off, just whatever. You could cut off the top of the thorn, but the tip is still hitting your nerve. So it doesn't work. There's no such thing as cutting someone out of your life or moving on. There isn't. You're just going to move on with all your thorns. Okay. So, or that's how we treat ourselves. And then for other people in our life, we teach them, we basically are training them how to not hit our thorns, because when they hit a thorn, it hurts us and we withdraw or we explode into anger or we try to talk them to death. Like, well, when you do this and then this and then this and then this and I feel like this and then the other time, and we just like talk a bunch, we do all the things, but basically we're training people around us to not hit our thorns. And if it's somebody more distant, maybe like a boss or maybe a more superficial friendship, we just don't tell them when they've hit a thorn. But they hit it and it's talking and it's hurting. Is this tracking with anybody? Anybody recognize, oh, I have thorns in my life, okay, or in my body or in my nerves? So, whose responsibility is it to take the thorns out? Well, yeah, you got it. Okay, good, Cheryl. So if I were waiting for, let's say I have a bunch of thorns stuck in me from experiences with my father who died, which I think the anniversary, today's the 18th, I think. So I think he died yesterday, 4 years ago. That's the thing about recovery. I don't need to stay stuck on the dates. So I think that was yesterday. 100%. Awesome. So we're tracking. So if I was waiting for my dad, my father, to remove the thorns that he smashed into me, I'd be waiting for the rest of my life. And that's that message out in society of, let's say this is the Child Loss Awareness Month or something like this. I'm not sure the exact title. So there's huge messages out there with suicide, with any type of loss, with any type of change, with any type of grief, that, life, you'll never get over this pain or you'll never get over this heartbreak. You'll just have to move on with it. Okay, that is like my least favorite. Oh, I get so annoyed when I see those messages. Why would you? That's just because you don't know what to do. Don't tell people you're going to feel like crap for the rest of your life. It's not true. It's not true. Don't believe the lies, people. I will show you how to feel better. Okay, so got a body full of thorns, and it isn't other people's responsibility to remove your thorns. Repeat. It is not anyone else's responsibility to remove your thorns. It's not their responsibility to bend and twist and tuck to avoid hitting your thorns. Out of care and concern, they might, but they shouldn't have to live that way. You shouldn't have to live in fear that they might bump up against one. You see what I'm saying? This is really, this affects connection. It affects our ability to really love, because if I do this, then they're going to get mad. And if I do that, then they're going to have an attitude, or this is going to hurt, or this is going to end up in an argument, or they're going to leave me, or whatever. We live in our busy, noisy fears because we're trying to avoid extra pain. We don't want new thorns, and we don't want anyone to bump into the thorns that we currently have. Okay? So yeah, thanks, Cheryl. I can't claim the analogy. It's not mine, but it's helpful. So, the thorn removal process. I'm going to give you something to start, maybe consider using in your life, starting today, going forward. Note, it is not going to remove the thorns that have already been placed. It isn't. But it will help prevent new ones from being jammed in. Because you got enough. Let's be honest. We all do. We have a lifetime of thorn collection, if I may. So, your homework, or something to consider as homework, if I can be so bold, grief, all those feelings that bubble up, every single thorn attached to you has unsaid emotional content. Even if you did try to say something, the thorn is still there. So maybe you didn't get it all out. Maybe you didn't have someone that could really hear you, whatever. But there's unsaid emotional communication. I feel abandoned. I feel alone. I feel unloved. I feel unaccepted or unheard or unimportant or unseen. Okay? Those are the emotional communications that I'm talking about. I'm feeling something. What are you feeling, or what message is it telling you? You're alone. You're no good. You're not wanted. You're not valuable. You're not loved. Okay, so you've got all those messages or that unsaid emotional communication floating around you, connecting to every single thorn. So starting today, going forward, consider when something comes up that hurts you. I'm missing my dog Fifi. Okay, maybe your dog was named something else, but we're going to use that example. Oh my gosh, Fifi was my best friend, and Fifi would meet me at the door every time I came home, and I just really miss that little Fifi. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. It's that emotional communication. Say it as it comes up for you. Every day you come home and you don't have the wonderful, close, loving greeting from Fifi, you know you feel that. But not communicating it is keeping the thorns and maybe adding new ones. Or letting that thorn grow. What if it's growing inside of you? Holy cow. Well, that really hurts. Let's say you had a romantic relationship end. Told you that you were no good, or you're defective, or, you're not wanted, you're not loved. What did that tell you? I don't know. You'll have to find it. But let's just say you're with your friends and you're like, but I just really miss so-and-so. That's it. You can do that. Hopefully, though, they'll listen to you and not try to go into their mind with some fancy intellectual comment or some really nasty comparison or just meanness of, really, you're still working on that? Or really, that still bubbles up for you? Or, that's just judgmental, isn't it? That doesn't feel good. Hopefully, they could just say, okay, thanks for sharing. Or, oh, that sounds awful. I'd love for them to say, oh, that sounds really awful. Thanks for sharing that with me. That would be awesome. It doesn't happen often. I need to teach people how to listen, and that's something we get to do in the class. Or maybe let me know. You have someone in your life you want to talk with, but they don't know how to listen. I'll send them some videos. I'll send them some content. Hopefully they'll watch it. Hopefully they'll learn something from it. Hopefully they'll put it into practice. I don't know. The point is, you're responsible for removing your thorns, and you're also responsible for letting new ones get jammed in and then just leaving them there. So try to start preventing that, taking baby steps. Maybe just today, one time, you try telling the truth of, I just miss my dog Fifi. It's sad when I come home. I feel sad when I come home and she's not there or he's not there or whatever. And then maybe tomorrow you do it one time. And then maybe Sunday you do it 2 times. The point is, we've got to get to telling our truth. We can't just bury down our emotions. Basically, we're burying down thorns, and we can't expect everyone else to stop hitting our thorns. That's up to you to go take them out and heal. So next time someone says X, Y, and Z, it's not going to catch and pull and bang up your thorns. It might just glide over the surface. So let me know if you have questions on that, if you'd like some more ideas. But that's step 1. Kind of think about, if something pops up, don't just be so quick to bury it and suppress it. Let it pop up, because that's what your intuition is trying to do, is trying to get your awareness. Dude, we've got a thorn here. I mean, imagine the scene. If you're full of thorns on the bottom of your feet too, on the bottom of your booty. So you go sit down and or what, are you just going to avoid sitting for the rest of your life? Or in your foot? No, let me think a happy thought. Let me just go for a walk. Let me just meditate. No, you're going to pull out the stinking thorn. Let's say you've got a thorn in the bottom of your foot. You're just never going to walk again? You're going to hop on one foot? No, you're going to pull out the stinking thorn. So don't ignore your heart when it tells you that there's something going on, that something's hurting you. Don't bury it and suppress it and jam more thorns in and just let it go. No, I'm going to think a happy thought. I'm going to do mindfulness, and I'm just going to change my thought process, and I'm just going to look to something positive. Please stop doing that. That's not serving you well. Let me show you how to get well for real. I love you. I hope that one little baby tip is something that you're willing to try. And try again and try again and try again and create a new habit with it. Okay? Cheryl, thank you. I love you too. And please, y'all, don't be afraid to send me your ideas if you just have a question, or hey, could you talk about this one time? Or hey, what do I do for this? Or what do I do for that? Send it to me. You can get my email on my Instagram page or my main website. You can find everything you need, phone number, whatever, on my main website or on my Instagram site or wherever you are. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I will see you next Friday, Lunch and Live, 11:45. Sending y'all a hug for your weekend. Bye, everybody. And again, thank you for even trying to show up, for your grace and mercy on my huge, messy, mess connection problems earlier. Love y'all. Bye.